Hey everybody, it's Shannon Marin here with another episode of Second Home Vacation Location. I have Robert Vargas with me today in the Mayan Riviera to tell us all about it.
So
Nice to meet you. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Just got back from Mexico Saturday, like midnight, and now spend one day just turning my brain off,
Oh God,
and
yeah.
then just starting my day today. And I speak with you, I have to head to my office to talk to my broker because Mexico is just kind of like blowing up, and we need to strategize because I'm getting so much interest right now. And
Wow.
we may have to open an office in Playa del Carmen. And he's thinking of even opening up an office in Merida because there's a lot of
Oh,
people there also. So things are going good.
yeah,
Busy.
yeah. And who are you with again?
Go Global Realty.
Go Global Realty. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. That's
I
interesting. There's so many different names. Like in Canada, we have like the top five, right? And then
yeah. Oh. Are you with
but
EXP?
go global, that's a good name.
Yeah. Are you with EXP?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I used to be with EXP when I first got my license with Tamara, and
Okay.
but it for what I wanted to do in Mexico, it really wasn't conducive because I needed a very, very dedicated broker who
Yeah.
was going to support me there. And Michael Ring, who's kind of like one of the head people in LVR and NAR, and he does business in Dubai. And we've got about 65 agents representing 30 countries.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and he had nobody in Mexico. So, yeah, so
Oh.
the timing all worked out unbelievably. And he's been
Mhm.
very supportive.
Really? Oh, that's great. That's good stuff. So that obviously with the name Go Global,
Mhm.
that's the whole business model is
Yep.
to go global and
Mhm.
hit other countries and stuff like that. So
Yes.
yeah, yeah. No, that's excellent. That's a great business model, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think with the brokers here in Canada, like I don't lean on the brokers too much. I think the EXP broker is reachable. I've got some good agents with EXP that I can
Yeah.
reach out to when needed there. And I've got an excellent team here, like with admin staff and all of
Yeah.
that takes care of my back end. So, you know, I think it'll be I think once I get there.
And you will.
I will. I have to get my Arizona license finished first
Okay.
because I'm going to Arizona, get back down to our place in Arizona in September. I'm gonna get that out of the way. I have people that want to join my team in Lake Havasu, get them up and running, and once they're doing all right, then I can head down to Mexico and
Yeah. I used to party in Havasu from the time I was maybe 25 through 35. We used to have a boat, go down there all the time. A friend of mine had a house. It's so funny how you want to market Havasu now. It's pretty interesting.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, there's a there's a lot of people from here, from Vancouver Island, that are
Okay.
that are in Havasu.
Oh,
Like
wow. Okay.
I didn't even know about Havasu until a friend from here had told me about it. Went down, checked it out, went, oh, this is a pretty
Yeah.
cool place. Love it.
Yeah,
Gonna
it is.
buy something here.
Uh-huh.
And then realized that there was a bunch of other people from my town here that actually already owned there. And now I'm sending lots of referrals down there to my realtor down there.
Okay.
Right. And I'm like, I should just get a license here too. Why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Like I got my license, believe it or not. I've been in real estate since 2007, and you're going to get a kick out of this. I used to own a chain of flower shops, and I saw an ad in the paper for Trump University. And yes, ma'am. And I signed up with Trump University, dropped about 100 grand with them. Found out that it was not what it was talked up to be, but it got my feet wet. And I learned through the school of hard knocks who to trust and who not to trust, and what people are just about doing in just trying to sell. And it was bad. And what's so sad is I honestly feel in my heart, I don't think Trump knew what was involved. He never was involved in the so-called university.
No.
And he hired somebody, I know his first name was Michael, to run the operation. And Michael just went out and hired guru speakers that were already known in the industry and brought them in. And it was just a big sales pitch. So that's how I got my start in Vegas, because I was in LA.
Okay.
And my so-called mentor says, oh, you got to go to Las Vegas because this is when the crash happened. You can buy houses dirt cheap. And they knew I had some money because I had just come into a lawsuit. So I wound up coming here, buying property, learning how to flip property and all that other good stuff. And I did it up until 2011. Then the Chinese bought a lot of property here. The market wasn't conducive for flipping. Went back to LA. Then wasn't doing much with real estate. I had a chain of flower shops there that I was kind of overseeing. And then I wound up getting a divorce in 15, and then came back here to Vegas, started flipping again. And but then you saw, what happened 2 years ago with COVID, and the market here just went south. And then with pricing now, you can't flip here. I mean, it's insane. Yeah. And so I got my license last June. And my instructor was Tamara, and she actually recruited me to join EXP because she knew I vacation in Mexico every summer in Cancun. And I had talked to her about opening up a Mexico market, and she liked that idea.
Yeah.
So we went to a trade mission with the LVR here in Las Vegas. We went to Playa del Carmen, Tulum, met with a couple of developers, but the broker who was the brokerage who originated the trade mission here, he got COVID, so he couldn't go. So his partner in Texas wound up spearheading it. Well, he wound up spearheading it because he was already had a relationship with developers there. He was marketing Riviera Maya, and he was getting an override on anybody he can get to buy there. So it wasn't really completely honest.
Okay.
It opened up my eyes to the market. And tomorrow was there with me. Michael Ring, my new broker, was there.
Yeah.
My life mentor, Randy, who is a broker with Keller Williams in Maui, was there. So that's how I met these people, and I want to go into Go Global. Randy is helping support me and my needs in Mexico because he's got a huge interest, because the average price in Maui is like 1.4 million, two-bedroom condo.
Yeah.
So he's sending me clients. I'm giving him a referral fee. And that's kind of how it all got started. And it's happening very, very quickly.
That's super quick because you haven't been in the Mexico market that long.
No, and I already have 5 condos under contract. I've got interest in about a dozen more. I'm getting asked by Airbnb people how they can get into the market because they have money behind them. So I'm explaining the process to them. They're wanting to get set up with Airbnb there. However, their whole issue, the numbers are great, better than here.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, they don't have the team there, the cleanup crew, all that other stuff. Well, guess who's setting that up for them? Me. And I'm not getting paid off of it, but I know enough of the people there who work in the hotel industry that are willing to work for them. Yeah. And so it's been a ride. And,
wow.
And I'm excited. I'm very excited.
No kidding. Okay. How did you find the process of learning to sell real estate in Mexico?
Well, it started with the trade mission. We met with a developer by the name of Simca. They're one of the largest in Riviera Maya, family owned for like 30 years. So you can trust their product. They deliver on time. And they pretty much went over the nuts and bolts when we first went there on the 3 days. But since then, I've been going back at least 1 to 2 weeks every month. And I stay in, I've got a bunch of points through timeshares.
Yep.
And one of my resorts is right there in Playa del Carmen. And so I go and I just use points, stay there for a week or two.
Yep.
And then while I'm there, it's maybe 10 minutes from Simca's corporate office. So I hang out there. I learn the business through them. I've got a good working relationship with the director of Canada and the United States markets with Simca. Her name is Sonia. And she's pretty much been teaching me everything.
There's somebody named Chris in that.
Chris is the CEO. Yes, he's a good friend of mine.
Okay, because I got a message from Sonia this morning, actually.
Yep.
Because he must have seen a post that I did or something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and he's kind of the marketing guru for Simca. He does all the traveling, all the sales. And so they've kind of taught me a lot. So I really pushed their product. And in turn, what was key for me was joining different Facebook and WhatsApp groups.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's a lot of them that are created because of problems.
Okay.
And they're now my clients.
Yeah.
So it's worked out. Yeah, because I just kind of sit back and I hear these stories. Oh, I left a deposit and I got scammed and this happened and that happened. So I started doing research while I was there, talking to developers who are there, and they know they call me the Mexico guy, and I'm also Mr. Las Vegas here because when you see Las Vegas there, you're like the king, right? And I'm like, I don't know. But they're drawn to me because they can see the potentiality with clients and buyers. So they're very honest and they tell me the truth. And the bottom line is 90% of the so-called realtors in Riviera Maya are not licensed.
Yeah.
They can be anybody off the street, get a business card and put realtor on there, and that's where the corruption starts.
That's the scary part, right?
Yeah.
That's really the scary part.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just shocked when I found that out. I found that out only about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And that's totally the scary part.
Yeah. And what's helped me a lot, to be honest, is the fact of I'm a licensed agent here in Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
And since I'm a licensed agent and I'm bilingual and I spend so much time there, people now trust me.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to treat them with the same integrity and loyalty as I do people here in the States. I'm not a Mexico agent. I'm a member of AMPI. So I know all the rules and regulations, but everything goes through my brokerage. All the wire transfers, everything, all the referral fees go through Go Global. I've got agents here who are happy as can be because there's no inventory here in Las Vegas. Yeah. And I'm offering them right now 50% referral fee, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
So for the most part, I get 6%, sometimes as much as 8% from the developers. And I'll give 3% or more to the agent for a referral, and they do nothing.
Right.
And so that's kind of my role model, the role I play, and it's really working very well. Actually, I got to get back to Playa on June 11th. I've got some clients that are going to be there.
That's good. Hey, and it's easy just to zip back and forth. Like I've got a friend from here, from Vancouver Island, that's selling in PV. Mm-hmm. And I mean, really, it's a direct flight from the island, to land in PV, and he'll go for a weekend, tour some clients around, and home again. Right. So yeah. Interesting business model where I don't know. I find a lot of realtors are still just in the box, small town. They need to be physically present all the time. Won't let go of that old school stuff
Yeah.
and, you know, not thinking outside the box. So,
And a lot of them are still hesitant. I get a lot of agents, they'll see me on Facebook. I'm getting a lot of friend requests from agents all over now.
yeah.
And I don't even know who they are, but I'll add them because I see they're in real estate.
Yeah.
And then they start following me, and they'll see me in the middle of the jungle looking at construction being built in Tulum or in Playa, houses for sale in Merida, brand new, remodeled for $200,000 in the colonial
Yeah.
town. They see that and they're like, wow, that's available. And I'm like, yeah, but it's in Mexico. And I'm like, big deal. I'm here. You tell me
Yeah.
what you need. We'll get the notarios, the attorneys, everything's in place. We'll hold your hand. We'll educate you. So just getting over that first hump. And I've noticed once they buy one, they see the smooth process.
Yeah.
The word spreads.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it's really good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's definitely scary for a lot of people. Like, my son-in-law is Mexican. He lives here in Canada. And, so when we do end up buying, we'll probably buy with the kids, and all of that. But, the whole process for anybody that's not in real estate, like even just to buy in the US from Canada,
Yeah.
people question me all the time. They're like, how did you do that? I'm like, well, I went down there. I didn't even go down there. I bought it online and then I went down there and I closed on it. But it's just such a scary process for some people to get outside of that and buy in another country, right? So Mexico should be no different, except that it has that stigma where you weren't allowed to buy in the restricted zone and all of that kind of stuff. And then the other rumors that, your land is going to get taken from you and all of those.
That comes from the Pacific side from 20 years ago. I just had to deal with that with a client who was ready to back out. And I explained to him the process. I said, look, somebody bought land in Ensenada, Mexico, from Joe Schmo down the street, went ahead without doing their due diligence to find out if there was an ejido or who owned the land, built all these homes, sold them to all these foreigners, and then the original owner comes back after everything's built, goes to the federal agents and say, hey, these people built on my land. He had his documentation, and they all got kicked out. That was the person who bought and the developer's fault. It wasn't the government that did anything wrong.
No,
So,
it was people that don't,
didn't do their legwork. So like now I explained to everybody, the way it works in Riviera Maya is you're going to buy in a trust. Okay. You control the trust. The bank, who's your partner in it, can't do anything with it. It's good for 50 years and it's renewable until infinity. And you can put it down to your kids, your grandkids. And I explain that all to them, and the government can come and take it. It's a condo, or if it's a beach house, which I'm also selling to in Progreso. It's the same type of process. Everything is through a trust.
Yeah. I think it's just the fear of the unknown. The fear of the unknown of the processes. And once you learn it, like you say, once somebody gets comfortable with the process, it's not such a big deal anymore.
And once they go there, they fall in love. And any fear they may have had, they just fall in love. Like they can't even believe this place is there.
Yeah.
For that price. And like right now,
tell me about some of your projects and things that you're working on selling.
Okay. We'll start in Merida. I've got a good relationship with an American developer who's from Alabama. His name is Larry. He went there about 8 years ago. He had a nightmare of a time buying a house. He then decided, he used to work for Marriott. He grew up with Marriott since he was 18, and he was one of their developers until he retired. He opened up his own company there because he saw a need, one-stop shopping.
Yeah.
I now sell his properties. He's got, he does a lot of buying old colonials. His architects revamp them. They're basically like brand new, and then he resells them for between $200,000 to $250,000. He also has bought up a lot of land there in the Yucatan Peninsula, like Progreso. And he's now selling land, and his architects are building custom homes
Okay.
for buyers. So he's doing that now, and he's having me market and sell them here. Because the bottom line, he doesn't have time, and Mexican agents, they make one commission and they're on siesta. That's how they, I could say that because I'm Latino, okay, I'm Mexican, but that's how they are there. I had a couple of buyers. I would call Larry. Larry would be here in the United States buying other hotels. He would say, call my agents. I call them. They don't even respond. So I finally told him, I said, look, I'm an independent contractor. Put me on your payroll and I will market and sell your products. And that's the relationship I have with him now. So in Progreso and in Merida, I sell remodeled homes.
Okay.
Ready, already furnished, price points of between 150 to 300,000. All are great for Airbnbs in
Nice.
Merida. Also selling land and beach houses in Progreso, anywhere from, I've got one that was on the market for 175,000 USD on the beach.
That's crazy.
Exactly. So I've got that whole niche in the Yucatan. And then in Riviera Maya, I'm currently selling Playa del Carmen and Tulum, primarily condos because it's too expensive. Beach houses there are basically non-existent unless you want to spend $1 million on up, which you can sell. So for the most part, I sell two types of properties. The developments that have like over 100 units, which you have 5 or 6 pools on the top deck, all the amenities like a resort style, starting price of about 200,000 on up.
That's so still such a decent price.
Yeah. And what's really hot right now are 2-bedroom lockoffs, and for Airbnb reasons. So I'm selling a lot of those. And then the other niche I have is boutique condos, where they bought land right there, maybe 2 or 3 blocks from Fifth Avenue in Playa del Carmen, and they build maybe 20 units.
Yeah.
It has a bar on the top, a no-host bar. It's got a pool up there on the roof. Chances are it might have a small gym, if that.
Okay.
But the units it's boutique style. So elevators, it's small, it's quaint. It's great for Airbnbs. I've got some right now. The price points are about 100,000, 110,000 for a 1-bedroom studio.
That's great.
Yeah, so people are buying them, Airbnb them, and then going there to visit Playa on Fifth Avenue because it's basically a tourist destination.
Yeah.
And so those are kind of my 2 markets and price points.
So how much would an Airbnb get per month, say?
There's 2 seasons there, high and low season.
Okay.
Right now, there's only high season. That area is now the #1 tourist destination in the world. Yeah. On average, a 1-bedroom studio can get on the low side, I would say something new, decent. I would say $75 a night.
Yeah.
For a studio, on up to $200 a night if it's a 2-bedroom.
Okay.
So that's kind of where the margins are.
Yeah. So that's great. I mean, anywhere from probably like $2,000 to $6,000 a month, depending on how much square footage you have, bedrooms, and all of that. Yeah. You can't find a return like that anywhere else.
No, and a lot of it is trust, and I think that's why my broker Michael, he does property management here also. He's got over 300 properties. When I took him there last February, after I joined his brokerage, I said, Michael, you have to go with me. I want you to know what I'm going to sell for you.
Yeah.
And he fell in love with Playa del Carmen, and then I took him to Merida. He fell in love with Merida, and the first thing he said is, I wanted to open up a coffee shop in each place with an office above.
Oh, what a great idea.
And he went and had a long talk with Chris at Simca. And
Oh, you just lost your sound. You just muted yourself.
okay.
Oh,
Sarah, can
there
hear me?
you are. Yeah.
Okay. So Michael, on our trip, had a long talk with Chris of Simca, and they have their own sister company, Happy Address, that does the property management for everything they sell if you want them to manage it for you.
Okay.
He saw the nightmare. They're charging, I think, 35% to manage your property.
I heard it was somewhere like that, like anywhere between 20 and 40%.
Yeah. And he saw the numbers and his eyes just widened up. And that's where he said, you know what? I can make more money here working remotely, doing property management for investors so they can trust him also because he's American
Yeah.
to oversee all the property management. And I told him, I said, I don't want to be a property manager. He goes, Robert, you handle the sales, you make all the commission. I can care less. I want the check every month.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at now. He was a little skittish in the beginning about Mexico, and then he said, look, I'll back you, but you got to be there. And prior to this year, I was only in Mexico for maybe 2 or 3 weeks a year, and that was on vacation in Cancun or in Playa.
Yeah.
And so since then, I told my wife, I'm committed. I feel this thing. It's gonna be a gold mine. So we've been budgeting and planning for me to be in Riviera Maya at least 2 weeks every month, and I've been doing it since then. And now
Great.
developers are coming out of the woodwork. They are like, as soon as I land there, I post, I'm here in Playa or here in Tulum on WhatsApp. Robert, we want to do a presentation. Where are you at? And I'll tell them, oh, I'm here in Playa. We'll have a driver pick you up and bring you to Tulum, and we're going to make a presentation, show you what we have to offer. And it's hilarious. And but what's kind of cool is they ask, what do Americans want? And we will build.
Yeah.
So it's a good feeling considering I haven't
Wow.
had a license for 1 year and things have just gone
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Well, I can see, like, you're very easy to talk to, and you got an honest face. Go look at that.
Yeah, my
So,
clients come first. It's no matter what.
well,
So,
that's the main reason that we're in this business, right? Is to help people. So,
mhm.
we're the ones with the knowledge about how things work and all of that, and people come to us and they depend on us, right? So,
Mhm.
and it's no different whether you're in Canada, the US, Mexico, or somewhere else, right? That's the name of the game. So,
And
yeah.
also I kind of understand realtors are realtors. They're out for themselves. However, they can max their commission. They don't like to share.
Yeah.
And so I know that. So I know they have a weak spot. And that weak spot is if somebody's going to give them half their commission, hell, I'll give them the business.
Mhm.
And from what I know in Riviera Maya right now, I believe I'm probably one of the very few agents here in the States who is there on a regular basis, marketing and selling.
Okay, so some of the other agents that are from the US, they're not there.
Yeah, like
Okay.
the Ed Eakin, who's from Texas, he's big on selling Riviera Maya. He used to live there for about 5 years, and he's back in Texas, and he'll be in Mexico maybe once every 3 months.
Yeah, okay.
And what my contention is, to get trust, I have to have my boots on the ground. I have to be there.
Yeah.
And that's what I am. That's what I do. I'm
Yeah.
there to watch your back. Anything new comes up. Like this morning, I just got a lead on a development, which is Simca's, where they've
Yeah.
got 2-bedroom units. They're throwing out the door for under 200 grand in Tulum in a resort style facility.
Wow. Wow.
I've been blessed. It's a lot of good things that happen.
Yeah, that's exciting. I can't wait to get down there. So we'll be down in January, but we're touring the country before we end up in the Maya. Like we'll go do Baja. We're gonna go do Mazatlan and PV and the whole thing. We're gonna drive.
Okay.
And then, but the end game, like I'm still really leaning towards Playa for the investment.
Mhm.
We were in Playa a few years ago. We spent a bunch of time in Cancun. We've been into Tulum just to tour around for a day.
Yeah.
I've spent some time in PV before, but I really like the feel of Playa.
Mhm.
You know, that's kind of where I'm leaning towards, but we're
Yep.
going to take probably, a month to tour from the US border until we
Oh,
get
wow.
down to the Maya and just tour around
Okay.
and stuff. And then plant ourselves there for a couple of months and see what happens. It will
Yeah.
probably end up being more, and I probably won't be in a rush to come back to Canada. So,
Yeah.
so good. Like you say, like if you're going to start any kind of business to where people trust you, you really got to dig in and learn
Mhm.
and know what's going on, right? So,
Yeah. And another thing that I've noticed, because I ask a lot of questions when I'm there. Here's a typical example. I got invited to a presentation not Friday, but the Friday before in Tulum. They came pick me up, took me to the presentation. There was 20 other agents there. All they cared about was how much commission do we get. They didn't ask about the development. This development I posted on Facebook. It reminds me of my timeshare. Complete resort, all amenities as if you're in a timeshare. You can get a unit starting at I think 150,000 in Tulum. Got all the bells and whistles. 5-star, managed by an American company. It's
wow.
unbelievable. So I was asking about what's included, the furnishings, the appliances, background information about the developer, and I'm asking in English. And everybody else there speaks Spanish, but the presenters were bilingual. And I was the only one asking questions.
Yeah.
And everybody else is looking at me like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And I passed out all my cards, And then when I left, all these so-called agents started telling me or asking me, hey, we'll be your agents here in Mexico and we'll split the commission. And it's like, I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Because if you're going to refer, you need to be able to trust referral too, right? So, yeah.
So my whole thing is, if somebody wants to buy, I want to make sure I'm there. I'll schedule my time every 2 weeks, every month I'm there. I'll tell people this is when I'm going to be there. If you want to come down for a day or two to look at what you're buying and then fly back home, it's cheap enough. I'll show you what we've got.
Yeah.
So, but but this is my game plan. Being there, I started researching assisted livings. I only found one in all of Riviera Maya. And there was one in Merida that had 12 beds and they were charging $3,500 US a month. Okay. Which is still cheaper than the States. And I started thinking, and I told my broker this too. Within 3 years, I'm going to have land, build 21 units on the beach in Puerto Morelos and in Progreso.
Yeah.
And focus on expats because they're retiring there. And they're going to need assisted
they don't want to go back.
No, and they're going to need assisted living. And there's no place there to go to. And I can offer them for even $2,800 a month, all inclusive. We'll do laundry and cook and clean, considering the labor force there gets paid $8 a day.
Wow.
It's a win-win for everybody. So that's what I'm going to have. And that's going to be my retirement, basically, just cash flow that. My wife's a nurse. She's going to be getting her nursing credential to be a nurse practitioner. And she's going to oversee it for me. I've already spoken to hospitals. They'll come to the facilities and service the expats because they're going to get cash.
Wow.
So it's, yeah, there's a lot of possibilities there in Mexico.
Well, thank you so much, Robert, for being here with us. That was very helpful information to everybody out there that's thinking of moving to Mexico, particularly the Mayan Riviera. So thanks so much for joining us.
No problem. It's been a pleasure of mine to be on board your show. And if there's anything I can do in Playa del Carmen, Tulum, Cancun, or even Merida, the Yucatan, I'm here to help any of your clients and viewers in any way I can.
Okay. What's the best way to reach out to you?
You can reach me at Caribbean Retirement Living at yahoo.com. That's my direct email that I use for Riviera Maya. And I tend to respond within 24 hours with anything I can do to be of assistance.
Perfect. Perfect.